Thank you, Chairman. Secretary, I think this is the first time that we've seen one another since you visited us in Alaska. I appreciate your willingness to be there in Wasilla, have an open mic. I think you got it unfiltered from our veterans, and you've had some time since that visit to kind of process not only what Alaskan veterans have said, but obviously about veterans around the country. Dr. Shulkin was here before this subcommittee last week. We had an exchange back and forth about the failings of the choice program in Alaska. Kind of the short and sum of it was that Alaska VA healthcare system had long been resistant to sending patients to community facilities. They viewed that a better alternative was to send a vet all the way down south to Seattle rather than just using the services there at Fairbanks Memorial. Your predecessor, Secretary Shinseki, worked with us. We really thought we were on the road to that model VA health system. Then the Phoenix incident comes around. Now our veterans are saying very clearly, very loudly, our VA health system in Alaska is a mess. I referred to it last week as chaotic. Without exception, the veterans that are talking to me say, we need to ditch choice, we need to go back to what we had built where VA had identified community providers, wrote referrals, paid the bills. It was a system that worked. So I'm concerned with the various proposals out there that we're seeing that, quote, consolidate community care. We don't want to participate in a national consolidated program. That's all the buzzwords that just don't work for us. We need a program that is like what we had, which is custom developed for the fact that we are non-contiguous, we are highly rural, we've got a mismatch between demand for providers, which is very, very high, and the supply of providers, which is unfortunately terribly low, and because our medical community is really self-sustained within the state. So we don't want to be part of this consolidated national program. It scares me to death. So given what you heard in Alaska, given the conversations that we've had with Dr. Shulkin, how can we do this? How can we draw outside the lines? Because that's what we've got to do with Alaska. That's what we've got to do. I think you know. But the way that we can figure out this integrated system of VA healthcare that works for Alaska. Now, I don't expect you to have a full answer in 2 minutes, but we need to have a better understanding as to where we are.
Well, believe it or not, I do have an answer, because as we put this program together, consolidated care, this network of great providers, it's with the learnings from Alaska as part of it. We need to have in that network the Alaska Native Health System. We need to return to all the things we had before choice. The problem with choice was it was well-intentioned.
It was non-choice is what
But
our
it was
veterans say,
non-choice.
yeah.
It created a single entry point called a third-party administrator where you hand the veteran a phone number, and I know that doesn't work. I mean, I was in Alaska. I went up to Point Hope to watch how the Alaskan health system worked. We need to get back to where we were in Alaska, and this bill will do that, or we're not advocating it. So that's certainly our intention.
Well, okay, you're saying that this bill gets us there. I need to know that we're all in agreement as to where there is, because your words are good. I think you recognize it, you see. But again, part of the frustration that our veterans have right now is that they saw how we had corrected a system that had failed our vets for years. We built it, and then it was disassembled literally in a matter of months. So what I need to hear from you is that you agree that where we were before choice came on is where we can get back to, and that's the direction that you want to take it.
That's certainly the direction I want to take it, and I'm going to make sure that that is built into any bill, because I saw the Alaska system and it worked. And it was choice. It did provide choice. David, do you want to?
I think very specifically, we want to bring back the customer service piece. The Alaska VA staff, had a great relationship with Alaska providers, the South Central Foundation, as well as the Alaska Indian Health Service and the other federal programs up there. We also had a great relationship with our veterans.
Right.
And we want that back.
Because you know you don't have it now.
No, we're working hard to repair all the damage that happened up there, and there has been a lot of damage, there's no question. Both the Secretary and I heard this personally when we were up there.
Let me ask about that then, just with regards to the day-to-day operations, because I think this really goes a long way to improving that relationship, to rebuilding that credibility. We're sitting with a situation where, once again, we don't have a permanent director. We haven't had one since Susan Yeager left. I personally think it was a tragedy that we could not keep her. I don't think I've met the director of the Northwest Network. We're having a difficult time with provider attrition. We're still having serious issues with provider recruitment. And again, it's not that we can't figure this out. Alaska Native Healthcare System has figured it out. They seem to be able to keep folks. VA can't keep folks. Don't understand why. On a month-to-month basis, we don't know how well or how poorly our CBOCs are operating. We got a revolving door of providers there. We've got low morale. We've got fear of retaliation. So I hear what you're saying about what we have to do, but you've got a whole series of strikes against you right now that are going to make it hard to ensure that that veteran feels like, okay, we're back on the right track. At a minimum, it seems to me that we've got to have some kind of framework for measuring the performance of what's going on. I don't know on a month-to-month basis whether our local VA system is improving or whether it's just entirely collapsed. So is that something that you are considering and trying to put in place as you're looking at the bigger picture of how we get back to where we once were?
Senator, I don't think that we have the time to go into the very specifics now. I will say that your assessment of the local VA situation is probably somewhat different than mine. We do have a lot of metrics. We have an excellent acting director, Linda Boyle, there. I would love to have you spend some time with her.
I know Linda well, yeah.
Right. We have a search going on. We will name a permanent director in the very near future. I've been there. The care at the VA is truly excellent. We have statistics we'd be glad to show you. The problem, our reputation has been hurt incredibly, and you're hearing it from the veterans because the choice program hasn't worked. And that's what we're working very, very hard right now to repair with Tri-West. They've been working very hard with us to do that, but we need these legislative fixes to fix the program once and for all. So we will reach out to your staff and sit down and review those statistics with you. We have a lot of data on Alaska.
Well, and I appreciate the statistics, but I also know that when I'm sitting on an airplane with a veteran who is not talking statistics, he's talking about his care. He's talking about how he was treated. He's talking about what it meant for him to basically feel like there was no response. So I appreciate statistics. I know that we've got to be paying attention to that. But I need to make sure that we've got providers that we can recruit and we can retain. I need to make sure that we have a level of responsiveness that is more than just scheduling an appointment. It's one thing to say, yeah, I got an appointment. It's another thing to get the care that our veterans have clearly earned. So know that we need to stay very closely engaged with this, and we certainly intend to do that.
Sarah, I'd like to send over our team working on this new bill.
Great.
And make sure that we are aligned that this will include the Alaska Native Health System and all the needs that we were able to address with the previous system.
I would look forward to sitting down with your folks. I appreciate that.